In this lesson, we're going to look at a different way to display text using something called the printf function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open our Hello World project that we've been using previously. There it is. And let's open the editor. So our previous examples of displaying Hello World used the print line function. Another way to do that is to use something called printf. The simplest form would just be to replace the print line with printf, followed by, inside the parentheses, what we call a string format. That's the %s inside quotes, followed by a comma, followed by the string that we want to print. And what we're saying here is that we want to print this particular format using this particular data. Let's compile the program, then close, and then execute main. And you see that we get Hello World just as we expected. Let's open the editor back up and take a look. So the %s is what we call the string format or the print format. In this case, it is for a string, so we use s to represent a string. And you can think of this as the %s as a placeholder to hold what's going to follow after the comma, which will be our data. In this case, the string Hello World. We could have rewritten this format like this, with 3 %s's. Hang on, there we go. And I could break up the string into hello, comma space, and then world, and then exclamation point. So you see that I'm looking for 3 strings, %s, 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 and then I have 3 arguments after it. Hello, comma space, world, and exclamation point. Let's compile, close, and then run main. And there you see it again. That was our first output. That's our second output. Let's open up the editor. We can also use variables in this scenario. So let's add a line. Create a name variable with string. And then we can say like this, and that's not a $sign, let's change that, that's a %sign, sorry. And then a comma, followed by our variable name, and then close out the function call. Let's compile. Let's close, and then execute. And there's hello Ann at the end. Notice that printf does not ever provide a new line. So if we want a new line, we have to specify it in our string someplace. So let's put a \n before this particular call. Let's compile it, close, and then execute main. And you'll see that now we've got hello Ann on the next line. To wrap up this lesson, we can also format numbers this way. Let's clear out this program. And let's start over again. Oops. If we want to print a whole number, we use %d. That's our placeholder for a number. Let's compile. And then execute main. And there's our 100. I'm going to add a blank line here. We'll keep using printf like that. We can also print floating point numbers. Excuse me. Oops, there we go. Like that. Let's compile, close, and then execute. And notice it printed the floating point number with quite a bit of degree of precision, which we may or may not want. And we can control that in our specifier. So let's open the editor. And right here, we could say 0.1f, like that. Let's compile, close. And so now you'll see that it only prints 2.3. We told it, let's go back and look at the specifier. We told it one place after the decimal point. If we had a number like 2.38, let's compile, and then we'll execute. Notice that 2.38 rounded up to 2.4. So to summarize, we can use the printf function to specify a particular format for both strings and numbers by using the correct placeholder. %s for strings, %d for whole numbers or decimal numbers, and %f or some combination of that for a floating point number like 2.38 or 2.1 or any number like that. We won't often use printf in this course just because I'm not as concerned about formatting output as I am about getting the output correct. But just understand that if you would like to see your output specified in a more particular format, that you can certainly use the printf function rather than print line or print, as we'll use mostly throughout this course.